Hey, what is up, everybody? Hasham checking in here. First and foremost, just want to say, hope everyone out there is safe and healthy during this unprecedented time. Secondly, if you haven't, please make sure to go like, comment, subscribe, not only to our YouTube channel, but our SoundCloud as well, which is at Clutch Factor Sports. It only takes a few seconds. You can actually go do it while I finish this intro. For those people that have, thank you very much. Your support has not gone unnoticed, and we really appreciate everyone that's been a part of this so far. Now, last but not least, enjoy episode number 3 of the Plays, K's, and Fadeaways podcast. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Clutch Factor Sports Plays, K's, and Fadeaways podcast. I am Hasham Kahlon, and with us today we have David Nunez, Almar Garcia, and Cinquay Mills. We are in the midst of final season and the end of the semester, so Mohammed and Jack are not with us right now. They may join us a little bit later in the show. They may not. We'll see how that works. But as stated in the intro, we hope everyone out there is fine and safe during this time. Top of that, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, not only to our YouTube channel, but our SoundCloud as well. Clutch Factor Sports on both SoundCloud and YouTube. And if you want to follow us on social media, our social medias are in the description of this YouTube channel. And before we get into the NFC 3-word game for this week's episode, we are going to try to make things a little bit shorter because we know when we get into talking about sports, we could go on for hours and hours, but for the sake of the listener, we understand how much listening to over 2 hours of content for the first week and then an hour and 40 minutes last week, how overwhelming that can be. So we are going to try to keep it a little bit shorter. Our cutoff time, I feel max should be an hour and a half, but anywhere between an hour and an hour and 15 minutes is ideal for us. So
especially with the shortened group of only 4 of us, I think that we should be able to move through it quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there is the possibility that, we get more people coming in, so
yeah.
But might extend the time.
Jack and Mohammed are both working on school projects. I hope we can get them in. If not, it's cool. The semester's coming to an end soon. We'll all be here afterwards. I really hope we can get Mo to come in, though, because we specifically saved the Packers for last because he's going to lose his mind when he talks about the Packers. So
yeah, we're literally just going to give him the floor, and we're going to let him go crazy.
Yeah, because literally, I'll show you right here. If you look at my notes, I have the NFC North first, and I had the Packers first. But now that Mo is maybe not here, he'll join us later. I've saved the Packers for last. But the team we are going to start with is the Philadelphia Eagles, and the NFC East is our first division. As always, I'll start off. I'll introduce the team, give my 3 words, and we'll go through the individuals here. So for the Eagles, my 3 words are I'm confused. It's as simple as that. At first when I saw it, I was confused in a bad way because I didn't understand the Jalen Reagor pick. But then I saw it. He's a speed guy. You get a healthy Deshaun Jackson. Alshon Jeffrey, he is what he is at this point. He's not a 1,000-yard receiver anymore. But he is not a deep threat, so you do have something to neutralize them. You have Zach Ertz and Goddard middle of the field. The picks I don't understand just as much as everyone else is the Jalen Hurts pick. But, let's see what they do. They are Doug Peterson is a really good head coach. This is the first time in the Howie Roseman era where I'm not fully on board with what he's doing. But their division isn't as strong. So we'll see how the Eagles pan out this year. David, I know you're a Justin Jefferson fan. You're happy he didn't go to the Eagles, so you didn't have to root against them. So
Right.
What are your 3 words for the Eagles and why?
My 3 words for the Eagles are what is happening. You basically nailed it on the head with their first 2 picks. Listen, the LSU fan in me did not want Jettas to go to Philly whatsoever. But at the same time, system fit-wise and what Philly was looking for, Justin Jefferson was a perfect pick. Jalen Hurts confused, I kid you not, just about everybody but the Philadelphia front office in picking him. What I can applaud them on, though, is their 4th-round pick, Kayvon Wallace, the safety out of Clemson. The kid he's a steal. He's a solid defensive back. You could play him in nickel. You could play him in between the numbers. You could play him at the slot. So he's a solid pick. But at the same time, that being said, I mean, I'm still not sure what they're doing. I don't see them as division favorites anymore, but see what happens throughout the year because, of course, it's the NFL and anything's possible.
Yeah, Almar, you're also a Giants fan. How do you feel about the Eagles? Your 3 words for them and why?
I picked Jalen. That's my 3 words. I feel like they started a quarterback controversy when there didn't need to be. There wasn't a reason to have one. I mean, you had your franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. I mean, I know he has the injury concern, but I mean, he can't. Not all the quarterbacks are like flawless, but he's more than serviceable, if not upper half of the league. I mean, he's done the job for you guys. He's won a lot of games for your football team. why draft the quarterback in the second round? There were other needs on your football team to fill. I mean, there wasn't a reason to pick him.
And the thing I don't get is QBs are injured all the time. You see Drew Brees was injured coming out of college. Deshaun Watson is injured. So the fact that you took Jalen Hurts in the second round when I think you could have gotten him a little bit later is the part that baffles me the most. They're thinking about using him as a gadget guy, read option type player, but
why second round pick?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't understand. You could have gotten him later.
You have way bigger holes to fill. I mean, I'm not sure when per se Delpit went, but that would have been
third.
No, he went in the second, but I don't know exactly what pick he went.
I know he went
in the round, but I don't remember. I don't remember numbers.
I want to say 40. Somewhere.
Yeah, he went before the Eagles.
He went in the top 10.
I was gonna say if they pick Hurts over Delpit, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Almar I picked Jalen. Cinquay, what are your 3 words for the Eagles and why?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to piggyback off you. I'm confused. Like,
why pick Jalen?
Like day one was like, and then day 2 was like,
Actually, you can.
And day 3 was like, wow, they did amazing day 3. But at that point, like, does it really matter? Like,
you
went out there, you traded for Slay. You traded for Slay, which y'all needed, a big cornerback to help you out. That Kayvon Wallace kid is solid. But it kind of erases all that because you just picked Jalen Hurts at 2 and you want to use him as a gadget guy. Like, all right, cool. Taysom Hill, I understand what Taysom Hill is doing, but stop trying to reach for Taysom Hill. Like, not every team needs a Taysom Hill. Have you seen the Saints win since Taysom Hill's been there? No. So you don't need a Taysom Hill. I understand that that's an amazing player to have. You don't need to reach for it. Like, that's really it.
Yeah, exactly. That moves us on to their counterpart, the Dallas Cowboys, who I think just had the opposite draft for them. And my 3 words for them are what a draft. You have CeeDee Lamb fall into your lap at 17. I don't understand how he got there. But now you have and for a lot of teams, he would be a wide receiver 1. On this team, he's wide receiver 1B, 2, whatever you want to call him. But their offense has got a whole lot better. Their defense, I'm not really sold on. I get they got Trevon Diggs, good cornerback, but their secondary needs a lot of help. That offense, as elite as it is on paper, is going to need to score a lot of points for them to win football games. So, but they did have a really solid draft. And that's something the Cowboys have done for years now. They're really solid when it comes to drafting. David, again, the Cowboys, 3 words and why?
My 3 words are legit championship contenders. They got better offensively. They literally got what they needed. They stole Biadaz, and I want to say like the late 4th, I believe is where he went. So, I mean, and that's your Travis Frederick replacement. Biadaz, of course, the concern is the injuries, but he's a center. Give him halfway through the first season, he'll be solid. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, there's not much else to say about CeeDee Lamb other than the fact that he's a great pick. Trevon Diggs, they got their Byron, what's his last name? Oh my goodness,
Jones.
Just gave it. Byron Jones, thank you. Byron Jones replacement. Put him on the other side of Chibuzier.
Cheeto Bay.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're good. Still feel like they do need a safety. I'm not sold on HaHa Clinton Diggs. I feel like he's past his prime.
I like HaHa. I just feel like
he's
not
not
a feature safety. Like, I feel like they need another guy next to him.
Like a Wallace would have been perfect for that team, or a Grant Delpit would have been perfect for that team.
100%. Or Jamal Adams.
Which I expected them to get in the draft, but that didn't happen. Give it about 2 years, so he'll go to them. But yeah, so my 3 words for the Cowboys are a legit championship contender.
That's interesting. Almar, you're also a Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys are in your division. What are your 3 words on them and why?
Favorites on paper. So on paper, the team looks very solid, especially on the offensive end. You get CeeDee Lamb, so you have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper to go along with Ezekiel Elliott in the running game. Very, very solid. So also, your offensive line, you got some help. I mean, the offense looks really good on paper, and the defense, if everyone stays healthy, I wouldn't say they're going to be world beaters on defense, but they're going to be more than serviceable. They're going to be above average, I would think, especially with DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith leading the line on the front 7. So, I mean, they're the favorites on paper, but with the Cowboys, it's never really the talent that they have. It's putting it all together in games. And we won't know until they actually play how they're going to do. So I'm just going to say favorites on paper.
And they do have a new head coach this year, so you can't look at Jason Garrett anymore. Again, Mike McCarthy, he wasn't a world beater like you said when he had his last job in Green Bay. The way he fell out, people thought he wasn't adapting to the league, but he's come out since then and said, I've rolled with the analytics. I'm much more intact with today's NFL, so we'll see how that works out. Cinquay, we'll end with you with the Cowboys. Your 3 words and why.
Pay Dak now. No cap. They need to pay him now and get this offense rolling, yo. Because I'm sorry, Andy Dalton is not going to make you a legitimate championship contender. Because I'm very honest with you. We all know Cowboys hate is very fun. It's a great thing to have in this world. America needs to hate the Cowboys. It's a wonderful thing. But they're really championship contenders. Like, I'm sorry to say it. I hate to say it, but that's just what the world is right now. And to be honest, you need to pay Dak right this second. Now, I'm not talking about paying no $40 million because that's out of pocket. 35 is like, whatever. Get it done. If it comes to 35 in a ring, hey, now you live lavish. Jerry Jones, you got all the money in the world. You go out here doing this nonsense, spending money on whatever the heck you want. Well, spend it on Dak Prescott right now. Let's get this offense on the board because the offense is crazy. You got Amari Cooper. You got Cedarian Lamb. Yes, that guy. He's so godly. Michael Gallup. See, you got all these players, and you got to put this all together. You got Beat-As in, the 5th round, which is an absolute steal.
4th round.
And he at first was getting 1st and 2nd round looks. You got him in the 5th. That's beautiful things to see. They had the best draft class. You have to pay Dak right this second so you don't waste a year of anyone's contract.
Yeah, we'll see how that whole contract with Dak works out. Because we know in a few years, Patrick Mahomes is going to get paid, and if he resets the market and they have to pay him more than what they originally wanted, that'll be a problem. But that moves us on to our next team, the New York Football Giants. My 3 words for them: not bad, Gettleman. The way these New York fans talk about Gettleman and the way he drafts and does things, you would think they drafted 2 busts. They drafted a top 3 running back in the NFL. They seem to have found – obviously the jury's still out on Daniel Jones, but he looked good his rookie year. He can make all the NFL throws that you need him to make. In this draft, again, a lot of people didn't like the Andrew Thomas pick, but he's one of the few offensive tackles that played left tackle naturally in college. So you won't have to worry about moving him from the right to the left side. And again, I think it's just a New York stigma that teams over there don't know how to rebuild. Or the fans just think, oh, since we're in New York, we're this big market, we don't have to rebuild. Not just for sports, but I know obviously Dan Almar, Knicks fans, you guys know how the Knicks fans are. They will not allow the team to rebuild without crapping on the team and the owner and everything else. So the way this rebuild is going, I'm liking what the Giants are doing. David, obviously you're a Giants fans. Your 3 words for them and why?
We're getting close. We're getting close to win the division. We're getting close to be a meaningful football team again. You said it perfectly on the head that Gettleman is a very good drafter. He drafted Daniel Jones. Granted, jury's still out on him, but if you look at his rookie season, it was a pretty solid rookie season. Saquon Barkley was another great pick, obviously top 3 running back. If you go back to the Daniel Jones draft, you got Dexter Lawrence at pick 17, who everybody was like, why would you get this guy? Meanwhile, he turned out to be one of the better run-stopping defensive linemen in the league. Going back again, last year, although he played 2 games, those 2 games were very, very, very good. And Ryan Connolly, you had a rookie controlling your offense at linebacker position you need the most. Julian Love was another guy that they hit on big time. So he's a solid drafter. Again, he did the same thing this year. I was not upset with any of the picks this year. You got Andrew Thomas, who was arguably the most NFL-ready lineman in the league, in the draft. Get him at 4. I'm happy with that. Xavier McKinney fell to our laps, and the consensus was that we were going to trade back from that pick, but he was right there. You can't pass up on a talent like that in a position you need. So now you have the ability to play Julian Love at nickel. You can have him play corner. You can have him play slot. You can have him go back and forth at free or strong safety. He's a weapon on defense, in my opinion, for Julian Love, and same thing with McKinney. Matt Pert in the 3rd round. He's a prospect. He's a project. But at the same time, give him 2 or 3 years, he'll develop into a pretty solid lineman. So Cam Brown's another guy who's very, very slept on. Very good pick. So he hit the draft very well. Only thing I didn't like is the fact that he didn't go wide receiver late, especially when KJ Hill was still on the board, or go after like Gandy Golden in the 4th round, or even go and try and get Biadasz when he was picked 4 or 5 picks before we wound up getting Shane Lemieux. So all that being said, it was a solid draft, solid offseason. We got what we needed. It was nothing flashy, but it did the job.
Almar, another Giant fan. I'm sorry. Your 3 words for the Giants and why?
I trust Judge. When he was introduced as the New York Giants head coach, he wanted tough, fundamentally sound football players. And with Andrew Thomas and Xavier McKinney, he knocked it out of the park with those 2 picks, along with David Edelman picking them. To start with Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas was, I think, the highest floor left tackle out of the top 4 tackles in the draft. So what the Giants did was they've already had an experience trying to draft on potential with a left tackle. That's not going to work. And Andrew Thomas has played right tackle and left tackle in the SEC, the toughest conference in college football. So if you need that versatility to play him on the right while you're paying Nate Solder all this money, you can do that because he's shown capabilities of playing right tackle at a really tough college football conference where you're facing the elite pass rushers year after year after year. And I think I don't know exactly how many sacks he's allowed in his 4 years at Georgia, but it wasn't a lot. And he was facing elite pass rushers week after week. So I think that stood out to the New York Giants, and that's why they picked him. To go with, Xavier McKinney, I think he was the second most versatile defender in the entire draft. So any feelings that I had of maybe you missed out on Isaiah Simmons if he becomes a superstar at the next level, I feel like those feelings went away from me when you picked Xavier McKinney, because to me, he's just as versatile as one Isaiah Simmons. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Isaiah Simmons, but to me, he's just as versatile. And
a lot of people had McKinney going actually in the first round.
Mm-hmm. He was projected to be a mid-first round pick. I honestly thought he was going to go to Philly. I didn't think Philly was going to draft a wide receiver just for the fact that this class was so deep. I expected him to go to Philly.
And the fact that you got him second round is
a steal. He just fell into that's a gift. That's a gift. Really a gift.
All right, we'll end with Cinquay here with the Giants. Cinquay, what are your thoughts on the Giants? 3 words and why?
Weird picks win. Andrew Thomas was a weird pick. Everybody expected Jedrick Wills, Tristan Wirfs, something of that caliber. But to be honest, playing it safe isn't playing it bad. Like, it is what it is. Like, he has the highest floor. So to be honest, if Tristan Wirfs becomes a bust, or say Jedrick Wills, even though I think Jedrick Wills might have been the safest pick because I feel like he's just going to be a superstar. Like, I feel like Jedrick Wills is going to be a monster. But Andrew Thomas, when I seen we were all on FaceTime together, and I literally said, I was like, yo, I feel like it's going to be Andrew Thomas is going to be picked first. And he was. And if you look way, way, way back, like a long time ago, when mock drafts were first being brewed up, Andrew Thomas was projected to go to the Giants.
Yep.
So people seen it, but then it was just the hype of like, oh, Wills, oh, Wirfs, Becton.
So through no fault of Andrew Thomas, he just fell on draft boards because of the hype of those other three.
just because of hype. But hype doesn't mean anything. A lot of people in the league come in with hype, but what does hype do for you? Hype doesn't make you a better player. Jamarcus Russell came in with hype. Ryan Leaf came in with hype. And what happened?
You can argue hype makes it worse.
Gone. 4 years gone.
You can argue hype makes it a lot worse for you coming into the league. That's just unnecessary pressure.
Because then it puts a lot of expectations on you. For instance,
especially in a market like New York.
Oh yes, of course. If you come in New York, you're automatically expected to win. Your team could be 0-16, and you're expected to win 90 games. 90. Not even. You're supposed to win every single game for the next 24 years. That's just the New York market for you. So Gettleman gets blasted for being good at his job.
Yeah,
just because he doesn't conform to the picks that the fans want, they just go and blast him. I feel like he hasn't done really anything bad. The only thing I see that he's done is get rid of Landon Collins. But what did Landon Collins do in Washington? He struggled. Now, what is Xavier McKinney? He's Landon Collins-esque. They came from the same school.
He's better.
A lot better. He covered a lot better.
Yeah, Landon Collins
I don't watch college football, so I don't know.
Landon Collins was a mid or late second round pick when we got him. Landon Collins could not cover passing for his life. He was a zone coverage safety. That man, listen, and Landon Collins
He was in the box.
is my favorite
He's a
Giant
box
in the
safety.
last 5 years.
Box safety.
So it was bittersweet watching him leave, but at the same time, seeing basically Xavier McKinney being his replacement, given the fact that and I'm still high on Jabril Peppers, but given the fact that Jabril Peppers can't do the job.
I like Jabril. Jabril,
No, you can play them. You can play
solid.
them. You can play McKinney and Peppers together.
No,
But
I'm
you would have to play. You would have to play one of them at sub line. I do not like Jabril Peppers at free safety. I think he's horrible.
No, yeah.
No, you would play. No, you would play McKinney at free safety.
Peppers showed me last year he cannot tackle. Peppers showed me that he struggled tackling.
And before we move on to the last team in the division, one thing I will say I like about Gettleman, I respect now, he doesn't care what the New York fans think.
Exactly.
He does.
That's the attitude you need.
Kind of have to. You kind of have to be that way though.
Because look, you Saquon Barkley. Obviously, a lot of people wanted a QB. Sam Darnold's there. Take Rosen, Darnold, somebody. He went with Saquon Barkley. Perfect. Last year, we want Dwayne Haskins. Obviously, I wanted them to take Josh Allen because I think they could have gotten Jones a little bit later. But you have your QB. If he's there, you take him. Odell Beckham, fan favorite. New York fans loved him. He was a highlight reel every week. And here you are. You traded Odell Beckham as well. So I think in a little bit, the Giants are going to need to start getting results. But for now, for the process of the rebuild, I think Gettleman is playing it perfectly by not conforming to what the New York fans want him to do.
I honestly believe by next year they will be a decent contender. Because this year you're going to see the progression from not only Daniel Jones, but you're going to see Saquon Barkley get a lot more touches because who's our offensive coordinator? Oh my God, I forgot his name.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah,
Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett, exactly. And what did he do in Dallas? Ran the ball.
Yeah, Zeke gets abused like some stuff that I'm not gonna say, but he began abused, yo. He began like 900 touches. So Saquon Barkley, you better be ready to have your hands on the ball at all times.
And his
first,
thing is
second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth down, all of them.
The first thing Saquon Barkley said when he was speaking with Garrett was, "I'm excited," and Garrett responded to him saying, "You know I like to run the ball." So right there alone, Saquon Barkley is going to have at least 1,500 yards this year. At least 1,500 yards. 1,500 yards.
He might have like 19, but they're gonna run. He's gonna have like 400 carries. I swear he's gonna have 400.
No, but he might be. But he's so versatile. You can split him out wide and play him as like a receiver.
If you're talking all-purpose yards.
No, I'm talking rushing yards. He's gonna have 15.
But if you're talking all-purpose, he might be near 3,000.
He might have 3,000.
He's gonna get the ball like 600 times.
All right,
no cap.
Moving on to our last team of the division, the Washington Redskins. One thing that I think it's a fact that I just noticed right now: 3 teams in the division are gonna cast a new head coach this season. So they did sign Ron Rivera. My 3 words for them are Haskin or out, because you have Dwayne Haskins, who Dan Snyder's the owner's name, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
He wanted. And Jay Gruden was adamant in saying, "I did not want Dwayne Haskins." And even Urban Meyer, who was Dwayne Haskins' coach in college, said this kid is not ready to play in the NFL year 1 because Ohio State's offense is a lot more simple than NFL playbooks. And he literally came out and said, while the draft process was going on, he's not going to start year 1 for you. And what do the Redskins do? Throw him out
year 1.
And obviously now a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't want Haskins." There's that famous video that went on last year, went viral, of him pleading to his O-line, "What do you want me to do for you?" Where it's like, that you shouldn't put that much on a young QB, especially when your team isn't that good. So now we'll see. I think Ron Rivera has a big decision on his hands. Do you want Dwayne Haskins to be your franchise QB or not? So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the Redskins. David, final team of the division, Redskins, your 3 words and why?
My 3 words were pretty solid draft, but looking at their rest of their offseason, that's really all they have to show for. They got Anthony Golden, who was Gandy Golden, who I feel is a very, very, very good talent. Dude's very intelligent. He's a very good route runner. He has very good hands. He's big. He's lanky. He can catch a ball. And then you got easily the best pass rusher that we've seen since Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, J.J. Watt, however you want to call it, Chase Young.
Man.
But I feel bad for y'all. Y'all going to have to deal with that twice a year for the next 20 years.
See, now this is my whole thing. If he's lined up on the same side as Andrew Thomas, I'm really not that worried because
they're gonna attack shoulder. You have to.
Exactly.
You have to. You put Solder against Chase Young. 8 total tackles, 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. Cannot.
And I thought that too, but again, we signed Levine, Tolio.
Levine Toilolo.
Toilolo, there
Yeah,
you
the
go.
6'8"
Put him in the jumbo package. Have him help Solder on the right side, and you have Evan Ingram line up on the left.
That might be that could be a move.
So,
I like that. That could be a move.
As a Niner fan, I will tell you, he is a brilliant blocking tight end.
The dude is
He's
6'8". What we need.
He's 6'8",
He's 6'8".
260 pounds. He better be.
He's better than Rhett Ellison. Rhett Ellison was your blocking tight end. He's better than that.
Rhett Ellison was more of our dual threat tight end. I was a big Rhett Ellison fan. He was solid for us.
No, I'm not saying Rhett is bad, but as a blocker, Levine Toilolo was disgusting.
Oh, exactly. And we got him cheap. 2 years, $4.5 million. I think it was.
That's another offensive lineman for us, basically.
Exactly.
What y'all do need.
So I'm not. Again, we're talking about Giants here, but going back on the Redskins, pretty solid draft. Realistically, they only had maybe 2 good picks that can honestly help them out now. I don't see them winning any more than 3 games, in my opinion. I really don't think they're going to be all that great. But
you said 3 games?
Yeah, I'm not. So their offense really doesn't do anything for me. Their offensive line is still scary.
To be honest, they should do that on purpose.
Yeah. Oh well. I honestly forgot the fact that they signed Thaddeus Moss, which is what they need.
I forgot about that.
He's literally a Jeremy Reed
He's tight end day one.
Oh, he has to be. He's very good blocking. He has very good hands, very good route runner, very good footwork. So it all depends on how they get coached and how they put it together. Dwayne Haskins has to show some improvement this year, or he's getting booted out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
Given the fact they fed him to the Sharks his rookie year.
Yeah, they did.
So he's literally working with absolutely nothing at this point. So he has to prove a lot of doubters wrong.
All right, Almar, your 3 words for the Redskins and why?
For my 3 words for the Redskins are it's up to Haskins. It's up to Haskins to keep his job. Through no fault of his own, if he doesn't perform this year, his career is sidetracked. Like, he's not going to be a starter in Washington and probably not anywhere else. Like, it's up to Haskins to learn the playbook, a brand new playbook at that, wear out the new coaching staff and prove and show to them that he is their future. Because this new coaching staff and this new regime, basically, they're not married to Dwayne Haskins and his success. They're not. So if he doesn't perform, it's not like they're losing their jobs anytime soon. It's just Haskins' job he's going to lose. It's just his own. So it's up to Haskins to perform and show to them that he is that guy.
Especially with the QB class coming out next year. Cinquay, again, we'll end with you. Your 3 words to the Redskins and why?
Shadow of Trent. As we know, Trent got traded, and I feel like it just overshadows everything. There's media saying that they was able to get that they would have been able to get a 1 last year, and they just decided to hold on to him. And I feel like that just overshadows stuff. Like, even in life, like, a lot of stuff gets overshadowed by whether it's good things or bad things. And the Redskins are just a franchise, an organization that always gets overshadowed by the bad. You've seen how Dwayne Haskins' last couple of games got overshadowed because he was talking to his O-lineman, like, what do I need to do? That's overshadowing. You see they get Chase Young, a great, not even great, like an amazing prospect. And that gets overshadowed by them trading Trent Williams for a bent nickel.
A third and a fifth.
And, yeah, like a bent nickel and some gum. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that gets overshadowed. And to be honest, that team just needs to fix themselves.
In fairness, it's a bag of chips. Come on now.
My fault. Well, whatever. But they just need to fix a lot of things in Washington. And to be honest, I want Washington to succeed. Ever since they got RG3, man, I'm pulled for Washington. But, like, after a while, like, you just get tired of seeing the same old thing.
See, honestly, that's the reason why I don't want them to succeed. Because of
they
what they
keep
did
doing
to
the
RG3.
same idiotic things, though.
Like, listen, RG3 is probably my favorite college quarterback.
Oh, I love RG3, man. I still watch his highlights to this day.
Dude, RG3 is one of the most – it was literally Lamar Jackson-esque.
Before Lamar.
In college, his rookie year, he literally led them to the playoffs on one leg.
With one leg.
So, and they killed his career after that. So
yeah, they killed him after 2 years. Once I still remember the play. He went down and just didn't move, and we knew. We knew
No,
that was
because
the
he
end.
shouldn't have been out there. His knee was already like hanging on a thread by then
He
anyway.
was playing on a torn LCL, which is one of the, I believe, three or four
Yeah, you have
biggest
an
ligaments in
ACL,
your
an
knee.
MCL, a PCL, and an LCL.
LCL, yes, exactly. So it's like it's hard alone to walk with a bruised knee. Imagine with a torn LCL. No
Yeah, your
amount of
LCL
cortisone
and your
shot.
LCL affects your lateral movement, and as a
Exactly.
quarterback, you need lateral movement.
All right, real quick, moving on. One word, yes or no, is Dwayne Haskins going to be the Redskins quarterback after this season? David?
No, unfortunately, no.
Almar?
Yes.
Cinquay?
If they're smart, yes.
All right, I agree. I think he should be given another year after this. All right, moving on. That moves us on to the NFC South, which in my opinion is debatable. Toughest division in football. Up there with the NFC West.
I don't think it's debatable.
All right, so we are.
You know what division I'm talking about is the best, and I feel like it's not close.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My 3 words: New England reunion. You have Tom Brady. You have Gronkowski, who went to retirement and literally said, "I'm only coming out because of Tom Brady." I think just like they were the favorites in the AFC, I think they're one of the favorites easily in the NFC now. They had a great draft. The fact that they were able to get Tristan Wirfs fall to their lap in 14 to help Tom Brady. They're keeping O.J. Howard, so that tight end room is filled. You have 2 elite receivers. Obviously your running game needs help, but you still have Bruce Arians, who's a offensive-minded head coach. You have a young defense who can play. Obviously they're young. They're going to be a little mistake prone, but I know David and Cinquay put money on the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl this year, and they very very might well. David, your 3 words for the Buccaneers and why?
Real quick, how much would we win? What is it? 385?
Yeah, 385. Yeah.
Off of a $25 bet. All right. But
Yeah.
anyways, my 3 words. My 3 words are worst to first. Obviously they weren't the worst in the division last year, but pretty damn close to it.
They weren't?
No, I believe the Falcons were.
I think the Falcons were, yeah.
No, I could be wrong. They might have been the worst.
No, they definitely weren't the worst. They definitely weren't the worst. You're right. I was thinking about it. They definitely weren't. I think they were like 7-9 or 8-8.
Regardless of the
I
fact,
think Atlanta
the
was worse,
improvement, the jump that they made from last season to this season, honestly, it's ridiculous. Their defense only got better. Their offense got better dramatically. Granted, they still don't have a run game, which I felt like was the only thing they were missing last year to be considered a decent contender. But like it's ridiculous on how crazy of a 365 days that they had. They replaced Jameis Winston with Tom Brady. They somewhat replaced O.J. Howard and Brate with Rob Gronkowski. They got Tristan Wirfs fell to their lap, which was even dumb because they traded up 1 spot to get him. That might be the best come up in football.
And then just real quick before we move on to Almar, the reason they did trade up with the Niners was because they were afraid the Niners might take Wirfs because of Joe Staley retiring. So they felt like they needed to move up. Almar, obviously you're a Giants fan. You've seen Brady a lot. What are your thoughts on the Buccaneers? Your 3 words and why?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's all about Tom. This is a 10-win football team.
He didn't trademark that, right? We're not gonna get sued, are we?
Yeah, please.
I don't think so. I don't know. Has he been like trademarking like random terms recently?
I believe he trademarked TBXTB or something ridiculous of that sort.
Okay, I don't think he trademarked Tampa Bay, so I think we're good. Anyway, I think this is a 10-win football team just for the sole reason that Tom Brady's on this football team.
Cinquay, obviously you're really happy Tom Brady is no longer in your division.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, your 3 words for the Buccaneers and why?
Who we getting? The 2 biggest acquisitions? Who are we getting? Tom Brady, he's old. Who are we getting? Rob Gronkowski straight out of retirement? Who are we getting? That's the biggest thing. If they get, you don't even have to get prime Brady. If you get like 65% Brady and like 57% Gronk, me and Dan will be
$385 richer, exactly.
Yes, that's how it is. That's how it's gonna come.
All right, moving on now to the New Orleans Saints. My 3 words for them are simple: all on Breeze. they're starting to become that team in the playoffs. Like, all right, what's going to go wrong for them this year? What blown call is it going to be? What nonsense is going to happen to them this year? I think I read a stat. I don't know if it's completely right, but I think they've lost their last 6 playoff games. They've all lost by 1 possession.
Mhm.
They're 0-6 in
It's
their last.
all. It's
Yeah.
all. It's never anything normal the way they
Exactly.
lose. It's
But
never anything normal.
I will say the game last year against Minnesota, Drew Brees lost from that game. I think he had 3 turnovers, something like that. Um, all the fans talk about, oh, Kyle Rudolph pushed off. That's not what lost you the game. I think Brees
Drew
now,
Brees.
you have Emmanuel Sanders, so you have a wide receiver 2 now. Michael Thomas is getting better every year. I don't even know if that's possible because the trajectory he's on. You still have a running back, Alvin Kamara. Obviously, they might need another back, but it's all in the Saints this year. David, your 3 words for them and why?
Didn't get better. They didn't get better. They didn't get worse. They somewhat maybe improved the offense with Emmanuel Sanders. They drafted Cesar Ruiz after drafting a center or a right guard the year before. So they're literally just going in a big circle right now. I don't see them winning the division. I see them making the playoffs. I don't see them winning the division. It honestly, it just all depends on how that offense can click and how consistent they can stay in the playoffs. Like you said, they've lost every game in the last 6 years off 1 possession. That first thing that comes to mind, the Minnesota game where the missed tackle happened and Stephon Diggs runs for gets a touchdown. What is it, 60-yard touchdown catch?
Yeah, walk off the first in NFL playoff history.
Exactly. The year after that, granted, it wasn't their fault. It was on probably one of the worst non-calls we've ever seen, in that pass interference that was not called. But at the same time, you shouldn't have passed the ball. You're winning. Why are you passing the ball when with 2 minutes left on the clock and the Rams have 1 timeout left? Run the ball with Kamara.
And you also gotta remember that they had more chances to win the game after. John Johnson III picked off a pass in overtime. So
Yeah,
I know how
first and threw interception. So
yeah, I know how they love to just give it to the refs and stuff. Yes, the refs messed up. We get that. We do understand. Technically, it should never happen, but you still have way more chance to win the game. So you really cannot be 100% mad at the refs. You should be mad at your team also for not coming through.
Exactly. So Almar, we'll move on to you. Your 3 words for the Saints and why?
Have to win now. The window is right now. There's no next year. You don't know if Drew Brees is coming back the next year. You have to win right now, especially as constructed. This team is built to win a championship right now. And the only people standing in their way of doing so is probably themselves, because they keep beating themselves in the playoffs. I mean, the regular season, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion. They lock up a playoff spot. It doesn't really matter if it's on the road or at home. They're going into the playoffs. They're that good of a football team. That's not the concern. The concern is once they get to the playoffs, like you guys said, how they're going to perform. And they have to win right now because the window, this is their last shot, in my opinion, to get it done right now. Because after next year, there's a whole bag of variables. You don't know what's going to happen.
Real quick, before we go on to Cinquay, I want to start off by asking Cinquay a question. So we were talking about this earlier in the week. Do you think the next draft they're going to go after a quarterback, let's say maybe a Trey Lance?
I like that.
Just given the fact that obviously, listen, Trey Lance, he's not coming from the most prestigious conference in college football. He's not coming from the most prestigious school. You got the automatic
42 touchdowns and 0 picks.
Exactly.
So that's ridiculous in itself.
And he's a very dynamic quarterback.
I personally thought that the Saints might go and draft Jordan Love this year to sit him behind Brees, but obviously the Packers did their thing and jumped him. But that's an interesting point. You know, they are going to need a quarterback after Brees. I don't think Taysom Hill's the answer. I don't know.
They did sign Winston Bad. I don't believe he's the answer either. Honestly, I felt like he was going to go to Pittsburgh. I feel like Pittsburgh's the best fit for him.
All right.
I think they should draft a quarterback next year. And Trey Lance, I think, would be a perfect fit.
All right. So Cinquay, your 3 words for them and why?
Finish it off. You gotta quit with the nonsense, yo. Like, I don't understand. Like, you gotta ask the characters in the room. Like, do y'all really want this? Because I don't understand how y'all continuously do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, it should get tired after. Get sick of it after a while. Like, yo, just continuously seeing us lose one possession games in the playoffs over and over. Like, if I was them, I'd be sick to my stomach. Like, I'd be tired of losing. You continuously run the draft every single year. Y'all traded Brandon Cooks to wind up getting Marshawn Lattimore. In that same draft class, you got Alvin Kamara, and you got all them other players that you got in that draft class, which made it the most ecstatic draft class in that draft year, right? You continuously run it. You're winning your division over and over again. You're getting first-round buys damn near every year. All you have to do is win 3 games. Yes, winning 3 games in playoffs is hard, but it's not as hard as winning 4 games as a wild card team. Eli Manning goes out there, he won it twice as a wild card team.
Exactly.
You're getting the benefit of the doubt.
He does it on the road.
That's what I'm saying. You play every game on the road. In all your games in Mercedes-Benz. One of the Super Bowls like a couple years ago was in Mercedes-Benz. You could have had it at home. You should be running the table. Stop that nonsense. You have to win at this point.
Yeah,
but you're going out there. You're signing players that are not young. You signed Emmanuel Sanders. Is it a good signing? To me, yes. Is he young? No. You're signing players of age showing that you want to win now. Stop wanting to win now and go and win now. That's it.
Agreed, 100%, especially because at some point, they're not those teams where we look at, oh, wow, you made the playoffs, great season. They're a perennial Super Bowl contender every single
year. For like the last 5 years.
You have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You need to start getting results. For him to have 1 Super Bowl on his resume, especially with the past couple of years, their defense, obviously beginning of Drew Brees in his prime, you could say, oh, his defense was giving up a lot of points in the plallayoffs.
Yeah, past couple years, his defense now.
His defense is
so
they got in that same draft, Marcus Williams from Utah, who was, even though he missed that tackle, he's still an above average free safety.
Definitely.
Even he might be above average. Like he might be in the good/great territory.
Right, not for nothing though, he messed up by not going for the upper body rather than trying to take out his legs. All you really had to do was just wrap him. Let him catch the ball and wrap him when he comes down. You're good.
I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but
but he was a rookie, so you gotta kind of I don't want to kill him. You feel me? He's a rookie.
All right, that moves us on to our the lower half of the division. I was about to say Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. The Carolina Panthers, who just acquired Matt Rule as well as their new head coach. My 3 words for them: Matt won't rule. I think their division is extremely tough. I like the direction they're headed in. Teddy Bridgewater, again, he's not a world beater. He's a very serviceable quarterback. Again, their defense was in shambles, but they got Derek Brown and the kid from Penn State, who's a good pass rusher.
Yetter Matos Gross.
Yeah.
Gross Matos, however, whatever his name is.
Matos.
It's Gross Matos.
So again, I think I like the direction they're headed in. Matt Rule is a good offensive coach as well. I just think with the division they're in, and obviously Teddy Bridgewater is under contract for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going anywhere in those 3 years, based solely off the fact that they have 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league in their division who are at the end of their career. So obviously their teams are in win now mode as well. So I just think I like what they're doing, but they're in the terrible division to rebuild. David, your 3 words for the Panthers and why?
So what now? Yeah, we ran the table throughout the entire draft on purely defensive players. But what now? Still need offensive help. We don't have a tight end. Our wide receiver core is decent. Curtis Samuel is okay. Who's their number 1? His name escapes me right now.
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, thank you. Yeah,
DJ Moore?
DJ Moore, he's serviceable. I feel like he's a better number 2 than he is a number 1.
He had 1,000 last year, so
he had 1,000 because he was,
that was with horrible quarterback play.
Yeah, I feel like he's a lower tier 1. Give him his credit.
I feel like he's solid. I don't think he's better than Calvin Ridley, who he's drafted above, but I like DJ Moore. He's solid.
Right. We already know how McCaffrey is. Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey, arguably the best offensive player in football. I don't want to rule Bridgewater out completely. I do feel like he is a good quarterback. Before he tore his ACL in Minnesota, he was winning games.
Solid.
He was a good quarterback. I just feel like he hasn't really gotten a chance to show what he's capable of. Yeah, he had a decent stint in New Orleans last year. But again, I really don't feel like he was truly showing what he can do. You saw what he did with the Jets in the preseason. He was playing out of his mind. So, and the Jets team with no wide receiver, no running back, no offensive line. He was
I don't even know who was on that team.
exactly.
I forget who was on that team.
I don't even remember who was on that team. I'm gonna be so honest, I don't remember.
If he's protected enough, and if he gets comfortable in the right system, because I do feel like he's a system quarterback. If he's comfortable in the right system, don't be surprised if he can put up top 10 quarterback numbers. That's how much faith I give Teddy Bridgewater. He's a fringe top 10 quarterback in the right system. So, what now?
Like that.
What now? How can we capitalize off of this offseason?
All right, Almar, your 3 words for them and why?
Rebuild starts now. I think it's a throwaway year for Carolina. I mean, I know you gave Teddy Bridgewater a lot of money for a 3-year contract, but it's a throwaway year. You're not that good on offense in comparison to everyone else. Although you have Christian McCaffrey, but you don't have like standout weapons besides that. And they're gonna probably load the box on Christian McCaffrey, even though he's probably gonna be split out wide. But they're gonna target Christian McCaffrey, and they're gonna try to take him out of football games. And when you take him out of football games, you don't have much else as an answer on offense. Like you guys said, you don't have another tight end, and you only have maybe one good wide receiver. And on defense, they did stack up on a lot of draft capital on defense. Derek Brown is a very good defensive tackle that they drafted. And Yetur Gross-Matos is a very, very good edge rusher. I don't think he's going to start week 1, but he will start towards the end of the season for Carolina. He's a very good pass rusher. But saying all that, it's a rebuild year for Carolina. They're not going to win that many games, especially looking at the rest of the division.
All right, Cinquay, we'll end with you. 3 words for the Panthers and why?
Bridge the bridge. You got Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like he's gonna bridge into like a Justin Fields type player, especially if they accidentally get the number 1 overall pick. You have to take Trevor Lawrence. Like it's kind of not debatable. But yeah, I feel like Bridgewater he's gonna like nobody's taking the job from him this year. I feel like he's probably gonna play out his second year, and then once you get to his third year, either they're gonna draft a quarterback the year going into his third year, or they're gonna draft one this year. So yeah, I feel like Bridgewater's just gonna end up being a bridge to the bridge.
All right, and that brings us to our last team in the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons, my 3 words, most frustrating team. They're a team that we look at the beginning of every year and we're like, all right, this is the year. This is the year they'll make a playoff run. I thought that last year. I thought that the year before. And it's just like I don't understand where it goes wrong for them. They have Matt Ryan, who's a top 10, top 12 QB in the league. Even last year, he put up great numbers. I don't know where it went wrong for them. You have Julio Jones. You have Calvin Ridley. Obviously, I think your defense needs work, but now, again, I think they're going to be worse because their division got better, not because they got worse or anything like that. I think because the top half of the division is so good, I don't think they'll go anywhere else because now you signed Todd Gurley. I think their whole starting 11 on offense are all first-rounders.
They are. Every single one of them are.
So you have them.
Well, mine is Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
No, Hayden Hurst is a first rounder.
He's a first rounder. Yeah.
Yes?
Was he really? I thought he was.
He was a first rounder for the Ravens. The same year they took 3 tight ends in the same draft. They took Boyle, Mark Andrews, and Hayden Hurst. And Hayden Hurst was the first one.
So again, I think
their whole team is first round. Even Laquan Treadwell, who's a bum.
Yeah. So I just think because of their division being so good, I don't see them as a playoff team this year. And I think this is the first year I'm going to lower my expectations for the Atlanta Falcons. David, your 3 words for them and why?
Are we rebuilding? You hit it right in the head. They're right in the middle. They're good, but they're not good. They're bad, but they're not bad. You need more consistency out of your defense than anything. Most of the games that they lost last year were nail-biting games. They took Seattle to the limit twice. They almost beat Arizona twice. I believe they beat them once. But it's that in-between factor of, all right, we have the talent. How can we win games? Keanu Neal needs to stay healthy. AJ Terrell needs to step up in his rookie year. He needs to show how good he was, like in the first half of the year with Clemson. So they're in an iffy predicament right now as far as where they're going to be and where they're at, they're probably going to be battling with the Panthers as far as the worst team in the division. But I don't see them being better than the Saints. Obviously, they're definitely not better than the Bucks. So it all depends on how they capitalize off this year and basically give some sort of hint of what's ready for the future. Drafted a great center in Matt Hennessy in the 3rd round, who I was very high on. So they got the protection. It's just how can we build off of it?
All right, Almar, your 3 words for the Falcons and why?
Is Gurley healthy? I feel like that's the biggest question I have for Atlanta. How bad is his knee, or is his knee back to a certain strength level where he can produce and be the explosive running back that we all know and love? Because if he is right, along with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, that's a really good football team, and I feel like their defense is improved, and I feel like they can straighten out whatever flaws that they have, but their offense has the potential to be very scary if Todd Gurley is healthy, and that's the biggest question I have for them. Is Gurley healthy?
Yeah, they're a really weird football team. Cinquay, we'll end with you. Falcons, 3 words and why?
Sign Logan Ryan. Their cornerbacks are trash. AJ Terrell could barely hang with the best wide receivers in college, so how do you think he's going to hang with the best wide receivers in the NFL? You're going to have him playing your number 1 corner. You're going to have Isaiah Oliver playing your number 2 corner. You're going to have Kendall Sheffield playing your number 3 corner. Logan Ryan, he publicly said he's not to Tennessee, so I feel like Atlanta should take a flyer on him. He took a flyer on Gurley. And Logan Ryan, he wasn't injured, wasn't bad. Also, another word I would have for them is medical sheet clean, because they need to keep the medicals clean. Keanu Neal averages like 3 injuries a year. He has like 2 ACL tears so far in the league, 3 ACL tears, something like that. And he's one of the best young safeties in the league when healthy. You have Todd Gurley, who was lighting the medical sheet up all year last year. His knees are a big red flag, even though I love Todd Gurley. You know me, I love some Todd Gurley. Deion Jones also was getting hurt that year. There was that year that their whole defense wound up getting hurt, and there's just a lot of question marks with that team. You have Takk McKinley, who's looking now not to be a first-round pick. His rookie year, he was solid. Last year, he just did not put anything together at all. So, yeah, I feel like they just need to go out, sign Logan Ryan, get the secondary some more veteran leadership, and they need to keep the medical sheets clean.
All right, that brings us to our next division, which is the real best division in football, the NFC West. We'll start with my favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers. For me, I put John Lynch, and I put the GOAT emoji. The moves he made, obviously, you get Javon Kinlaw, who's a cheaper replacement for DeForest Buckner, which, again, enhances your defensive line once again. You go and get Brandon Ayuk, who I read they were going to get him at 13, but, they found a way to make that trade and get him at 25. I think the biggest win for us on draft day was getting Trent Williams. Joe Staley retired. We got Trent Williams to slide right in. Obviously, I'm one of those people. I'm scared of a Super Bowl hangover because obviously you make the Super Bowl one year, and next year you're like, all right, we're going to be this good again. But now you are going to get everybody's best shot. But I think Kyle Shanahan's a really good head coach. You have a really good head coach. You have a really good owner. You have a really good GM. And I think, again, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think another year removed off his injury. He's going to play well. You got him more weapons. You have the best tight end in the league. Jerick McKinnon's coming back. Obviously, Matt Breida left, so you have him coming back. Tevin Coleman.
Hopefully, Jerick comes back.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert. So,
Jerick's doing some stuff.
I'm happy with the spot the Niners are in right now. David, your 3 words for them and why?
Can we capitalize? You basically hit around the head. They had one of the most slept on off seasons, I feel, just based off of the crazy move that they made during the draft. Kinlaw is going to be great with them. Ayuk is going to be literally what they need, that strong, fast wide receiver that can not only block, but you can run those crazy end-around plays because we all know how Shanahan likes to run the ball. Defense is still going to be great. You can't complain about the defense. The only concern for me is that can Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball consistently, accurately, and with efficiency?
I think that's very fair because a lot of times last year when he threw the ball, it was off play action when everybody's open. I think the great QBs in this league show if they can throw the ball when the defense expects them to throw the ball.
Knows the pass is coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So at this point, it's just how can he step his game up? Now this is his team now. Last year, everybody gave him a pass because this is his first full healthy season. Now you took them to the Super Bowl. This is your team now. How can you put them over the hump and bring home a Lombardi Trophy?
All right. Almar, your 3 words for the Niners and why?
Quality over quantity. They didn't have a lot of draft capital to work with, but what they did get was a lot really good players to replace the ones that left. So you guys referenced Brandon Ayuk. That's their Emmanuel Sanders replacement. That's a really good replacement, especially since Ayuk was to me, I think he was probably the best first round, best of the non-top 3 receivers. He was the best of the rest. So that's really good value at 25 for San Francisco. And sorry guys, my computer's acting up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So and Javon Kinlaw, that's a good DeForest Buckner replacement. So the quality they they got with their top 2 picks to maximize on the players that left, that's really solid. And they don't have that many holes on offense to begin, offense or defense to begin with. They're solid all the way around. You can argue that their biggest hole is at quarterback. So it goes back to what Dave said, it's going to be all on Jimmy Garoppolo. But in terms of the players they got, I have no complaints.
For what it's worth, they even got their Levine Toilolo replacement with the Georgia tight end in the late rounds. Cinquay, we'll end with you. Your 3 words for the Niners and why?
Finesse the plug. Yo, they finesse some stuff, man. We love the Javon Kinlaw replacement theory. We seen that happen. I seen that happening. I told you it was in my mock draft. I seen that happening from a mile away. That Javon Kinlaw would have came in the DeForest Buckner replacement. You save money because that they were starting to say that they might be in a little cap problems. And then you got my boy from Arizona State University. That would be, yes, Mr. Brandon Ayuk. Yes, I love Brandon Ayuk. I love what he brings to the table, a great yak receiver. And then they got Trent Williams, just like how I said, how the Redskins traded him for some gum and a bent nickel. That's what they got him for, a gum and a bent nickel. It's a great replacement for a team who's obviously in win-now mode. Garoppolo, he's young, so he still has time to develop. But, to be honest, we want to stop the Shanahan slander, and we want to bring a Super Bowl.
Agreed, 100%. That brings us to our next team in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks. My 3 words for them, Wilson wins MVP. I think when it comes to most valuable, the actual definition of most valuable player, I think he's the most valuable player in football by far. I think without him, the Seahawks are a 2 to 3 win team because they're overall they're not really that good of a football team. Russell Wilson somehow finds himself every week with the ball late in the game, and all right, I'm gonna go win you the game now. So I think they're gonna be, last year they were a yard away from being the division champs. So I just think this is a year of Russell Wilson. I think he is going to win MVP. That's my prediction for him to win the award. They'll be right there with the Niners at the top of the division. And I think Russell Wilson is finally going to get the true recognition that he deserves. David, your 3 words for the Seahawks and why?
My 3 words are the jury's out. I still don't know what to make of their offseason. They still have some holes missing. Their draft wasn't that great. I believe their best pick was probably Colby Parkinson in the 4th round. Was he the 4th round? Yeah, 4th round pick. So it's Jordan Brooks. I don't know much about him to be able to give you a full detailed explanation. No, he's a decent linebacker. That's really about it. But they still need that. I guess you could call him the Clowney replacement. At the same time, you still need that big defensive name to help you, and the offensive line isn't that great still. So in order for Wilson to be productive the same way he was when the Legion of Boom was around and when the 12th man was literally the pure definition of a 12th man, as if a 12th man is on the field, you need Wilson to be protected. You need him to get the help he needs on the line. His skills positions are fine. Chris Carson's good. Rashad Penny's good. DK and Lockett, good. You just need to build the rest up.
And hopefully Disley can stay healthy because Disley was
really good.
He was on the verge of a breakout.
Disley's a top 5 tight end when healthy. And there's no.
That's his go-to guy. Wilson.
I feel like tight ends.
Go-to guy.
I feel like tight ends 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. After that, it is who it is.
All right,
Hey,
Almar, we'll move on to you. Your 3 words for the Seahawks and why.
I have to piggyback on Hasham. Did he say Wilson for MVP or something like that?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to copy that. I mean, the offensive line, it is what it is. They just never seem to fix it, even though it's always like a big problem every year. I feel like they're just gonna rely on the brilliance of Russell Wilson to bail them out again, because they do have the weapons on offense. It's just they don't have like the best offensive line, and they're just gonna rely on Wilson to make something out of nothing most games.
Yeah,
Which that's a really dangerous game because you don't know how long he's gonna keep doing that. But if if he just brings his normal like high quality of play, he's going to win MVP.
Yeah, my literal reason for them even being anywhere near the top of the division
It's just solely Russell Wilson.
It's solely him. Like, you literally, I don't know how it happens. They'll literally end up with the ball at the end of the game, and he'll have 2 minutes to go, go win the game.
Doesn't matter if he's down a receiver. If you have a 2-minute drill, Russell Wilson, you have the inevitable feeling he's going to score.
Exactly.
Oh, and I have one thing to add about their first round pick. Their first round pick, who is Jordan Brooks, they spent a first round pick on a downhill thumper with basically average passing skills. So
yeah, they're not really known to hit on the draft. They draft weirdly every year.
Listen, they know how to hit after the second round.
Exactly.
That's their specialty.
Mm-hmm.
Cinquay, we'll end with you. Your 3 words for the Seahawks and why.
Late round demons, just like how you said. But first and second round is like, I think they just use that for like fun. I think they play rock, paper, scissors, throw dart to the board and say, all right, we're going to draft him. Like, just forget it. Once that third round comes, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, all right, we're getting Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, anything you want, we're getting that. They always finesse after the 3rd round. That's why they have late round demons. That's what I call them, the late round demons. You get the people who that have first round talent, second round talent, but get overlooked, overshadowed, no looks. We're like a 2-star receiver coming into college. They wind up blowing up and just coming, and that's how they survive. Seattle survives off of savages. Like, you have to be savages to play in Seattle, because Seattle, we're not picking you in the first round. We don't care. You can literally play like garbage. We don't care. The second round, we don't care. 3rd round, we're getting the best player to ever live. Like, very simple.
Exactly. That moves us on to our next team in the division, the Los Angeles Rams. My 3 words for them: window is closed. They had their 1 year where they were in the Super Bowl actually, and then they didn't come through. After that, you have to start paying players, and we all know how cap works in the NFL. You have to start paying players. You start getting worse, and I think just with them, they put all their eggs in one basket for that 1 year, and they fell short of the Super Bowl. And I think now you're paying Goff a lot of money. I still think Jared Goff is a good QB. He has all the tools. He's a beautiful motion throwing. He throws a beautiful ball. But I just think now with you putting all your eggs into one basket for that 1 year, it's winded you up, and you're not going to be able to compete for a Super Bowl for a little bit. David, your 3 words for the Rams and why?
Start rebuilding now. You basically took the words right out of my mouth. At this point, you literally have no money to even think about signing free agents. You had to let Littleton walk. You brought in Jalen Ramsey to just pay him. Honestly, you really didn't do much with that. It was an upgrade over oh my goodness, names keep escaping me today. Who'd they trade to Baltimore?
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters.
Who wound up being super solid.
Exactly.
I remember we had that.
They traded Jalen Ramsey. They traded Marcus Peters to get Jalen Ramsey, and Marcus Peters wound up playing better than Jalen Ramsey.
Exactly.
So
I told you
they had Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, and were playing like crap for some reason.
Yeah, because I told you.
It's the system.
Now, I literally told y'all this because I remember the whole conversation, especially I remember Hasham, especially when we were talking about Marcus Peters. He said he's washed and all that. I said, listen, Wade Phillips' scheme is dead now. Like, he's a legendary DC, but sometimes legends fade away. And in that instance, with that defense and those players, they just all were non-scheme fits.
Well, to close out my argument here, I'm going to basically say the opposite of what Marcus Peters said. And instead of him saying, "I think we not done yet," I think we done. So the Rams, I think we done.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
done so.
Almar, your 3 words
Oh,
for the Rams and why?
oh, that's good. How do I follow that? Man. Hmm.
You
They
want to
really
start?
threw me. He threw me for a loop with that one. I don't want to take. I don't want to take like another person's words 2 teams in a row. So I'm trying to think of something. But you know what? I'm about to take Dave's words again. I mean, they're done. I mean, they have according to PFF, they have the 31st graded offensive line. What did they not address until their last pick? Offensive line. That's a failure. That is a failure. You're not going to protect your pocket passer franchise quarterback, and he doesn't have. Who's their running back now?
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, who they just drafted.
So you have a
Yeah,
rookie.
Malcolm Brown's trash.
Yeah, okay, so
Daryl
yeah,
Henderson is like whatever.
So you have a rookie running back and your pocket passer, franchise quarterback who doesn't have the greatest wheels, and you expect them to make plays with basically the worst offensive line in football. And you did nothing in the draft and in the off season in free agency to solve that problem. That is a failure on the organization's part. They're done.
I mean, hey, they have Cooper Kupp, right?
Almar, you said they didn't make any moves in the offseason. They literally can't. Like they're so
they have no money.
No, but yeah, there's my point. Like you couldn't.
Exactly.
There wasn't anything to maneuver. Like you could have done something.
They tried to.
Use draft capital. Use draft capital on your
They don't
offensive
have
line.
any because they traded it for Jalen Ramsey.
No, use your second, third, fourth round picks on offensive line, man. At least do something like that.
That's all their picks. That's all their picks.
Bro, they have like 3 picks a year for the next like 12 years. Like
no,
they got rid of everything. They
use your late round picks. No,
I'm not mad at them for going all in because they got him a Super Bowl Super Bowl.
No, but I'm talking about this year.
But I'm saying that's the problem with going all in. When you go all in, you cancel the future.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go for it, you better hit. And you know they made the Super Bowl, but making the Super Bowl is not winning it. So that brings us to Cinquay. Your 3 words for the Rams and why?
Blowed up. You need money. Y'all are broke as hell. Y'all are down bad. Y'all are gonna be stuck in purgatory literally for years and years to come.
Don't they have to pay Jalen Ramsey like $90 million? They paid Jalen Ramsey like $90 million or something.
They're gonna have.
Going to.
I don't even know if they even paid him. You're gonna wind up having the most expensive corner. You're gonna have the most expensive D lineman. You're gonna wind up having to pay John Johnson III, who's very solid.
And you're gonna have to pay quarterback or one of them.
And you see how the Rams are getting literally dismantled as we talk. They literally had to cut Todd Gurley because they don't have any money. They literally had to get rid of Corey Littleton, who's their best linebacker. You don't even want to know who their linebacking core is this year. It's Hasham in the middle. It's Hasham in the middle. I'm at left outside. Alamar's rotating in and out, and Dave's at right outside. That's their linebacking core. Their linebacking core is so bad. Their team right now is so bad. They're not going to be good. They have no money. They have no draft picks. They are literally, I don't want to hear cap hell, draft hell. They're literally in hell, like everything hell. Need to blow it up, get rid of everything.
They have the nice shiny new stadium. They have that.
Yeah, hey, at least they're in LA.
They're in LA and they have a nice shiny new stadium.
Facts. I mean, you're not even going to be making ticket revenue because, coronavirus got everything all messed up. So what revenue are y'all going to make? Y'all literally have no money. Y'all can't replace anybody. It's going to just be people walking, and then they're going to end up with a team of just random people. And then you're going to have Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, and that's it.
If they want to rebuild right, talk to John Gruden. He literally traded, at the time, the best defensive player in football for 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. He wound up getting Antonio Brown for a third and a 5. Granted, that went to shit, but
at least the idea was right. I mean, the ideal was right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody knew that Antonio Brown, that his brain was not coming in the trade. Like nobody knew that was like the disclaimer.
So if you want to rebuild right, look at that.
Took out the disclaimer.
Yeah, and then this year they went 7-9 when a team they should have been like 4-12.
Yeah. All right, we move on to our last team in the division, the Arizona Cardinals. My 3 words: flying high cards. I love what they're doing. I love it and I don't love it because I'm a Niners fan. I hate seeing Kyler Murray because he just runs – as good as our defensive line is, he runs circles around everybody and finds a way to get out the pocket. He throws a beautiful ball. You got him now, DeAndre Hopkins. They still have Christian Kirk. The Kenny Drake splashed last year. They got Isaiah Simmons. Cliff and Kyler, I think, are a match made in heaven. I see a lot of people talking about them as a playoff team. I wouldn't go that far just yet. But with what they're doing with their young QB and coach in Arizona is great for their franchise. David, your 3 words for the Cardinals and why?
Who's protecting Kyler? They still don't have a good offensive line. He got sacked, 54 times last year or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, let me pull up that number before you guys hold up.
So even the fact that I know for a fact he got sacked more than 40-something times. So the fact that he's as mobile as he is, yet he's still getting taken down, is not a good sign.
He was sacked 48 times.
48 times. There you go. So
that over 16 games.
Exactly. So I believe that's 4.5 sacks a game, more or less. So it doesn't just because you got
that's 3 sacks a game.
Okay.
You give up 3 sacks a game.
So yes, you got a new shiny toy.
And in a special division that features people like Nick Bosa, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Jadeveon Clowney at the time, O-line is very primitive.
Exactly. You got 2 shiny new toys. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who's arguably top 3, definitely top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Now I don't think it's arguable for top 3. I think he is top 3.
Yeah,
you got those people who will try and slip in other people in there. But you got Isaiah Simmons, who's a Swiss Army knife, probably the most dynamic player in the draft coming in this year. So yeah, cool. You got 2 shiny new toys, but can they help protect Kyler Murray? Christian Kirk showed great improvement. He showed he can't be a number 1 last year. He can definitely be a number 2.
That's what DeAndre Hopkins is for.
Exactly. You still got Larry Fitzgerald there to basically still help out Christian Kirk, and at the same time you got Larry Legend with DeAndre Hopkins, who does not drop balls for his life. So
facts. He has more tackles than drops. Like that's wild.
So you're set. Your offense, skills position wise, is set. Ken Drake is still solid. You just got to get him in line. So
all right, we move on to Almar. Your 3 words for the Cardinals and why?
Running gun. This is going to be an all offensive team. Their defense is average at best. I mean, I know they drafted Isaiah Simmons, but the rest of their defense is looking. Yeah, I mean, I know Patrick Peterson's still there, but there's not much to work with.
You have Chandler Jones. You have Buda Baker. You have
the thing about their defense,
individual pieces.
Secondary, amazing. Front 7, basura.
Besides Chandler Jones.
Oh yes, of course.
Besides Chandler Jones, you must add that. Do not include him in the.
I did forget about him.
Do not forget about that. I do like that 3rd round pick though. Josh Jones.
Josh Jones, that was a great pick.
At pick 72, he had no business being in the round 3. I thought he was his first, second rounder. He had no business in round 3.
And remember, I was singing like a canary. Don't take Josh Jones at 18. Like, I feel like he's not a first rounder. I was so adamant on that. And the fact that they got him at 3rd round, beautiful.
Another great value pick. Cinquay, we'll end with you. Your 3 words for the Cardinals and why?
I'm gonna take it as throwaway year. It's not a year. You don't need to do anything. Like, y'all still building. Y'all got DeAndre Hopkins, he's not a spring chicken, but he's not like had 1 foot in the grave. You feel me? Like, he still got a lot of years of football left in him. He still got his best football coming up. You got Kyler God, who you know how he gets. Reigning offensive rookie of the year, even though he shouldn't have won it, but that's a story for another day. A line is primitive on both sides of the ball because y'all don't have a D line, y'all don't have an O line. You're trying to erase the mistake of drafting Hassan Reddick in the 1st round that year, which was like just a bad pick, and they tried to find his spot and they just can't do it. And when it comes to cap, they're in pretty good situations. As you can see, they're not a bad drafting team because they drafted Byron Murphy in the 2nd last year. They got Josh Jones in the 3rd this year. So they're doing well with value picks and such. So I feel like they're going to be a solid team, but not like I'm not like a light year ahead of team. And they're going to be a team that's going to compete in every game. They're going to play hard. Kenyon Drake showed out when he came to Arizona. He was as hot as the desert sun out there.
Literally. That brings us to our last division in football, the NFC North. We were saving this for Mo, but he's not going to be able to be with us today. He still has a lot of work to catch up on. It is the end of the semester. So I will start with the Green Bay Packers. My 3 words for them: don't love them. With them drafting Jordan Love, it tells me either one of two things. You either think that your team is good enough now to compete for a Super Bowl, which they're not, or you think, all right, we just have to draft our QB now because we're not winning anytime soon. Either way, that does not send a good message to your franchise quarterback right now, Aaron Rodgers. I think we all agree last year they were 13-3 in the NFC Championship game, but they overachieved to the moon. So I just think, the Packers, they're not in a good spot right now. They obviously you still have Aaron Rodgers and he'll compete. You might be a playoff team, but I'm not happy with what the Packers are doing right now. David, your 3 words for them and why?
Are you serious? Like, are you serious? Your first 2 picks are are literally the 2 positions where you needed 0 improvement. Aaron Rodgers is arguably a top 5 quarterback to ever play football. Arguably the most talented quarterback to ever play football. You had Aaron Jones, who broke out last year and had an amazing year. I believe, was it 1,200 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, I believe. Should have been.
I feel like
Was
he had
more than
like
10,
15.
probably.
He had a ridiculous amount. He had great stats.
I know total touchdowns he might have been near 20.
And with the second pick, you draft A.J. Dillon. Granted, I'm a big A.J. Dillon fan.
Likewise.
But why? It just
Yeah, and you don't even need a backup because you had Jamal Williams.
exactly the
Had,
only
16
quote-unquote
touchdowns, 16 rushing touchdowns.
they think
How
exactly.
many total?
I don't know the total, but he only had 1,084 rushing yards, but he found the end zone 16 times.
That barely matters. It doesn't matter. I believe you drafted a tight end in like the 5th round. And that tight
When
end,
you already had Sternberg.
and it's not even that. The tight end that they drafted wasn't even considered like to be one of the top 5 tight ends in the draft. So I don't understand what Goots was doing in this draft at all. If you're looking to build for the future, you did it the wrong way. Aaron Rodgers is not Brett Favre. He's way better than Brett Favre was. There's no reason to look for his replacement now. You have plenty of time for that. So that's all I'm going to say on the Packers.
And here's the thing with Aaron Rodgers. He's been in the league since what, 2005?
Yes.
Something like that.
But he hasn't played 15 years worth of football. So it's not. I understand he's 35, but he's not a beaten up 35-year-old who's on his last legs. He can.
His line's been solid for a while now.
And quarterbacks nowadays can play into their 40s, no problem.
Exactly, and he didn't play for the first 3 years of his career. So it's like you're not an old 35-year-old who's on his last legs, and you need to draft a QB to build for the future. You could have done that later, but it makes no sense to me.
On top of that, by the time Jordan Love will be quote unquote ready to start,
his rookie contract's gonna be up.
His rookie contract's gonna be up. Aaron Rodgers won't even be tradable because he's gonna be making like 30-something. He's gonna be a $30 million cap hit or something ridiculous like that. You can't cut him because again he's a $30 million cap hit. It didn't make sense. Yeah, you might think you have your guy, but believe me, there's going to be much more talent within the next 3 years at the quarterback position. You got Shane Rattler coming out. Sam Howell, who I feel like would be perfect for that system coming in next year. 2 years.
Shane Rattler's a little tough.
So it's like they're just in a really bad position right now when literally the one position you needed was a wide receiver, and I don't even think they drafted one.
Yeah. Almar, we'll continue with you. Your 3 words for the Packers and why?
No skill positions. The Green Bay Packers just do not address skill positions in the early rounds. The earliest round that they addressed skill positions was, I think, the 3rd round, and I don't even think they did that this year. They didn't draft. I think it was like.
I mean, they drafted A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round.
But wide receivers,
I get you.
Yeah, it was a very, very deep wide receiver class, and they didn't draft one of them. Or, I don't understand it. The wide receiver was a big hole for Green Bay, and they didn't. To my knowledge, I don't think they had an undrafted free agent that was a wide receiver that they signed, and they didn't draft one. So, what are you doing? You need pass catchers for Aaron Rodgers to get separation because it can't just be Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams for your passing game.
That's
all the time.
Felt like last season.
And maybe an occasional Jimmy Graham jump ball.
on Alan Lazard.
He's not even there anymore.
Hold on, wait. Well, I mean, listen. I'm a big Alan Lazard fan.
I'm talking about like last year.
Give Alan Lazard next year. He's gonna beat Funches out for the number 2 spot. I have no faith in Funches. Funches cannot stay healthy, in my opinion.
Oh, Funches is horrible. I think he's so bad.
You'll see Alan Lazard. I'm not saying Alan Lazard is gonna be great. Alan Lazard is going to be a very solid 2 or 3 third option wide receiver. You'll see.
And here's
mark my words.
If they get hurt, like there's no depth, and you could have used the draft to address the depth at wide receiver, which is very thin.
And the last thing before we move on to Quay, one thing about Alan Lazard, he has Aaron Rodgers' trust. So which is why he is going to be an integral part of their offense, but they could have used a lot more help on the outside. Cinquay, we'll end with you with the Packers. What are your 3 words for them and why?
The words, I'm not going to say them, but it's WTF. Because what the is y'all doing? Y'all is bugging. I don't know what he was doing. As you stated before, the first 2 picks you drafted A.J. Dillon and Jordan Love. Why? Just why? Like, you could even use it as the last letter next to Z. Why? 3 letters. Why? Just why? Like, it don't even make any sense. You have all these wide receivers in the world, all of them. There's so many value picks. KJ Hill got picked in the 7th round, and you ain't even looking at him in the 6th. I don't know. Like, it just frustrates me. I feel like Mo. Like, I feel frustrated for Mo.
Exactly.
Like, they should have did it. They should have did you better.
Frustrated.
I'm not even a Packer fan, and I'm just because I think we all can agree we love Aaron Rodgers. So it's like
Aaron Rodgers. That's the guy.
I was confused. I wasn't really frustrated. I was just more confused. Like, why would you do that?
They're kind of with Aaron Rodgers. They're sabotaging his legacy. Like, he needs another chip. He can't be one of those guys that go out with 1 chip. He need another one. And just like how Breeze's window is small, Aaron Rodgers is just a tad bit bigger.
With the worst team. So we'll move on to our not last team, the next team in the division, the Minnesota Vikings. My 3 words for them. NFC North champs. I think again, you guys know how I feel about Kirk Cousins in big games. He doesn't win a lot of big games, but he does win a lot of games, which is why you can't take that away from him. You have Dalvin Cook, superstar running back, Adam Thielen. You add Justin Jefferson, perfect replacement for Stephon Diggs. I think their defense, they lost a couple pieces, but they did replace some. I think they will have growing pains early in the season. But I think with the Packers getting worse, actually, they'll be the division champs at the end of the year. David, your 3 words for them and why?
We robbed Buffalo. Literally, they got the same exact player as Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson. They drafted Jeff Gladney with the 31st pick. Yeah, 31st pick. That a very, very, very solid cornerback. That's your Xavier Rhodes replacement. They just drafted so well. I do believe they did draft their quarterback in the future in Nate Stanley. I am a big Nate Stanley believer. He did show some really good flashes in Iowa last year and the year before that as well. He did a lot with not that much talent on the offensive side, but at the same time with what he had, he did show really cool flashes. But all in all, the Vikings might be the team to beat in the NFC North. You might see them against the Cowboys for the NFC Championship game. Let's see how that plays out. But as of right now, I do believe the Vikings made the best improvement going into next year.
All right, Almar, your 3 words for the Vikings and why?
3 words for the Vikings. They just compile. They just compile a lot of wins. I mean, there's not much more I can say about that. Like you said, like Kirk Cousins doesn't win, just wins a lot of games. He won't win the biggest amount of games, but he'll win enough games to where you get a favorable playoff seed. Like, he'll beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. Which in the NFL, that's actually like half the battle. You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and they have a good enough team to beat a lot of teams. So they'll probably get in and have like a favorable playoff schedule. They'll probably be like a home team in the first round of the playoffs, which is big. And I like the Jeff Gladney sign, pick a lot at pick 31. I feel like that was great value, and he was very fast at TCU, and he's very good at playing either in the slot or outside. So I feel like that's a really good cornerback that they picked up.
He's a very good press corner. Very good press corner. That man can keep up with anybody.
He's a speed demon. I've seen his tape. He's really, really fast. And Justin Jefferson, like you guys said, like basically a younger Stephon Diggs. So they didn't lose anything there. And the rest of their draft, it was really solid.
Yeah, they're one of those, and I love Mike Zimmer as a head coach. I think he's easily the best coach in the division as well. We'll end with you, Quay, with the Vikings. Your 3 words for them and why?
On point replacements. They got rid of the slack that they needed to get rid of, and they replaced all of it. Now, is Stephon Diggs slack? Hell no. That's not the slack I was talking about. I'm talking about Xavier Rhodes, who roads closed. No, the road was open. Everybody was open. All right, the road was so open you could put a truck, some Jeeps, everything on that road. They got rid of Trey Waynes, who I think was a horrible. Let me say it again. Horrible pick. Oh, Trey Waynes coming out of Michigan. Or not Michigan, Michigan State. Yeah, I thought he was so good. And then he played on the football. He played in the NFL. And whoa, he's so bad. And the fact that he's even getting paid the money he's getting paid from the Bengals baffles me. But it is what it is, to each their own. They got rid of Mackenzie Alexander. I don't think Mackenzie Alexander was really like a slack job either. But you replaced him with Cameron Dantzler, who I think Cameron Dantzler, coming out of Mississippi State, was a pretty solid player. He looks. I've watched his tape a little bit. He looks like a good player for them. And I feel like as a cornerback, because they needed cornerbacks, so as you've seen, they were getting torched. Their safeties are pretty solid. You have Anthony Harris, who they
might trade
on the tag.
Who they might
trade.
trade.
But I think they kind of fell out of that idea because I feel like they would have traded him at the draft, but that's just me. They could still trade him, of course, but Anthony Harris had a breakout year. I did not know who he was before last year, and he showed out. Harrison Smith is Harrison Smith. He's one of the best safeties of all time. Like I've seen comparisons of him and Troy Polamalu at the same stage, and Harrison Smith stats look better than Polamalu, and that's a high standard.
The only thing Harrison Smith is missing is a ring, man. Like talent alone, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. There's not much to argue there. He's a Hall of Famer. He just needs that ring.
All the people that they lost, and then the Ezra Cleveland pick. Oh, I love that pick because Minnesota has been known as a place that needed a line, and they got Garrett Bradbury last year. That's I think his name is Bradbury. They got him. They've been just working on getting that line correct, and I feel like they've been doing a very good job. So don't be surprised if they win the division. Don't be surprised if you might see them in the NFC Chip, and a little more surprising though, you might see them in the Super Bowl. You might.
We'll see how that plays out. This brings us to our last 2 teams, the lower half of the NFC North. We'll start with the Detroit Lions. My 3 words: Motor City shutdown. They're another team. They have pieces. I like their pieces. Matt Stafford, I think, is a very good QB, but at some point you have to start looking at him and say, where are your wins? Where are your playoff wins? He's played in 3 playoff games. He's lost all of them. Again, I understand he hasn't had the best team around him, but at some point you have to look at results, and he hasn't gotten them any. You have Galladay and Marvin Jones on the outside, good receivers. DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson, T.J. Hawkinson. Your defense, you added a couple pieces. Matt Patricia is known as a defensive head coach, but I'm just not a believer in Matt Patricia at all, like whatsoever. He's one of those Patriots coaching tree head coaches where it's like you need to go be an assistant somewhere else because you're not built to be a head coach. So again, I think Detroit Lions are going to have another disappointing year. David, what are your thoughts on them and why?
My 3 words for them are: we need improvement. Basically hit everything on the head. Stafford, in my opinion, is probably the most disrespected quarterback of all time as far as the media goes and as far as how his own organization treats him. They never really got like the true help he deserved. Meanwhile, the dude has arguably one of the best arm talents we've ever seen. I believe he had 2 seasons of 5,000 yards, and I believe the first time he ever hit 5,000 yards was in his 3rd year. So it's ridiculous on how much talent he himself has and the lack of talent that's surrounded by him. So unfortunately, he's
Besides Calvin Johnson.
You can't even count Calvin Johnson because he was
for a second.
Yeah, he was there. He was there for maybe 2 seasons before he retired.
Yeah.
So it's just I genuinely feel bad for him. He's going to go down, in my opinion, as probably the best quarterback within the last 20 years to never win. I feel like he's better than Tony Romo. I feel like he's better than Phillip Rivers. So it's just he just needs that one it factor player on both offense and defense to help him go somewhere.
All right. Almar, your 3 words on the Lions and why?
We are stuck. I don't see him getting any better. I don't see him getting any worse. I mean, I like their first two picks. Like Jeff Okuda is tremendous. Like his tape is amazing.
Jeff
super
Okuda might be one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen come out of college. Ever.
Super smooth, super fast, super technical. Everything's technically correct. DeAndre Swift, versatile. Can be a receiver out of the backfield, and like he's a really good runner. I like what they're doing. I like the picks, but I don't see them getting any better. Like it's just like a rebuilding year for them.
Yeah, and I think even I want to see. I think their division overall got a little bit worse, but they're just not to the point where I see them making any real strides. Cinquay, again, we'll end with you. Lions, 3 words. Why?
Save your job. Matt Patricia, you're in a job year. The GM, I don't know his name. He's in a job year. You got to save your jobs. Y'all are not good. Y'all haven't been good in a while. Matt Patricia, I think you're not good, but, that's my opinion. And if anyone else thinks that he's not, then it is what it is. But, yeah, y'all need to save your jobs. You play a lot of man defense. You got Jeff Okuda, whose tape is, so fire. And as a man press corner, he's amazing. You got Desmond Trufant to replace Darius Slay also. So, I mean, your team is pretty solid. Hopefully you can make Jamie Collins, y'all got him. Gerard Davis is horrible. You got Jamie Collins, who showed out. Huh?
Did they sign Trufant or no?
He did. They signed Trufant. You got Jamie Collins, who slid crazy last year. He looked really good. But, he's one of those players that he's not good unless he's in a Patriots uniform. But you have a Patriot-like system in Detroit. So you need to get him. He needs to be a sideline guy, 3-down linebacker. But otherwise, if you don't pop out with, at least, 7 wins, 6 to 7 wins, yeah, I think everybody's gone.
And I'd have to agree. That brings us to our last team in the NFL. Anticlimactic way to end it with the Chicago Bears. My 3 words for them, what a mess. You guys know how I feel about Mitch Trubisky. I don't think he's that good, but I think bringing him back on the last year of his rookie deal is a great idea because you still have a good defense and you don't have to pay Mitch Trubisky after this year. So you play him on a cheap contract. He had a flash in the pan year. Who knows? He might find that again. But here you go and you go out and get Nick Foles, who, in my opinion, is a career backup. He did his thing, but he's a certified backup. And now I've seen Bears fans Photoshop Justin Fields pictures, Justin Fields in a Bears uniform, and it's like I don't understand the direction that this franchise is trying to head in. You drafted Trubisky high, which we all know was a flop.
It was so dumb.
Not even Patrick Mahomes, because nobody expected. I mean, I was a Mahomes fan coming out. I didn't expect him to do this. But
yeah, I didn't even know who he was. I'll be honest.
Exactly.
I was more Deshaun Watson.
Exactly, Deshaun Watson at least. Patrick Mahomes, it's fine. You missed on. He was a project coming out, but Deshaun Watson.
Even if you would have missed on Mahomes, Watson is not a bad consolation.
Exactly. So it's like
he's on a similar tier. Like, how do you miss on that? He won a national championship. He has every accolade you could have in college.
I don't understand what they saw in Mitch Trubisky, but it obviously isn't working. And now you're not giving him any confidence by bringing in Nick Foles and starting a quarterback controversy. So, yeah, what a mess in Chicago. David, your 3 words for them and why?
I'm going to hurt a lot of people's feelings with this one. But, boy, we suck. Those are my 3 words for the Bears. There's no reason why you have 19 different tight ends on your team. There's no reason why you cannot decide who you want as your quarterback when you literally have the same person with 2 different numbers and 2 different names on your team. Your skills positions are not that good. Allen Robinson, yeah, sure, he's good. He literally was your entire offense last year. Tariq Cohen took a major down step this year. Who Taylor Gabriel, I believe they just got rid of.
Yeah, they cut him.
They have who's their number 2.
They signed the godliest man of all time, Ted Ginn.
Exactly, which is another joke. Khalil Mack is probably Khalil Mack is their only the only bright spot, and Roquan Smith, excuse me. But at the same time,
I mean, they have a couple more.
Well, no, I like. Yeah, I'm sorry. Eddie Jackson is really good.
Their defense, their defense is
fire.
Their defense is really good.
Literally, the way they the way you look at them is how you expected the Bears to. I mean, the Steelers were how the Steelers were last year is exactly how you expect the Bears to be. Their defense has to carry them through game 1 to game 16. But at the same time, it's hard to do that when your quarterback doesn't know where you are. And I believe Mitchell Trubisky doesn't know his own playbook, because there's no way you're struggling this much when at UNC you were a ridiculous talent. You were being compared to Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and the fact that you can't even hit an Allen Robinson on a 6-yard slant is kind of ridiculous. So they need some sort of order. Matt Nagy's terrible, honestly. He's not a good head coach. I'm sorry. He did what he did his first year, and his second year the league saw right through it. So it's Matt Nagy has to get out of there. They need some kind of new revitalization within that coaching system. So to sum it up, my 3 words again for the Bears are, boy, we suck. Thank you.
All right, and real quick before we move on to Almar, we can save this conversation for another time. I don't think Matt Nagy's that bad. I just think Mitch Trubisky is that bad. Because I think that first year, he allowed Mitch Trubisky to look the way he did. I think next year, obviously, Matt Nagy tried again, and the league just caught on to Trubisky instead of him. But, we can save that conversation for another time. Almar, your 3 words for the Bears and why?
All right, so I have a 3-word question that applies to the present and it applies to the future. Who's your quarterback? Now, I know you guys alluded to it earlier, but let me play out a scenario for you guys. Let's say Mitch Trubisky throws for 3,500 yards, throws 20 touchdowns, and throws 25 touchdowns, and throws 10 interceptions. Do you bring him back?
No.
Well, they already declined it.
Yeah. So
no, but
damn, yo, you don't.
No, but like no,
I mean,
but
Chicago
would be the hold on. No, but also let's say they're like an 8-9 win team. Maybe they're like borderline wild card team, but just miss it. Chicago would be the type of team to sign them to a longer term deal because of that one great year.
I genuinely feel like that'll be their ceiling with Mitchell Trubisky as their quarterback, though. Like, if Chicago is smart, I wouldn't go quarterback first round next year. I'd look for a guy with a high ceiling, decent potential in the 2nd or 3rd round. Like,
but you need a kind of a high floor guy so you don't end up looking like.
I think if they do sign Trubisky, it's because they're gonna want to justify picking him number 2. Like, all right, see, he had a good year again. Here we go. We're gonna sign him.
But see, this is my 3 words. Like, who's your quarterback? Like, that applies to the future. Like right now, you signed Nick Foles and you create a quarterback controversy for what? What if it looks bad if Mitch doesn't win the job, and it's expected if Mitch wins the job. Like, you started this for no good reason. And in the future, like I played out earlier, if he like balls out and you decline that option, now you kind of have to look at re-signing him to a longer term deal when you could have had him for a cheaper price. So Chicago's in a quarterback dilemma, but they're always in one.
Agreed. We'll end with Cinquay. Cinquay, your 3 words for the Bears and why?
Figure it out. Yo, you got to figure this thing out, man. Y'all built one of the best defenses that I've ever seen in my day, in my 21 years on this earth. And the fact that y'all don't even have a damn quarterback to fix it, like, I mean, Nick Foles might come in. He might come in and he might become Nick Foles of Super Bowl. He might come in, swoop the job. Trubisky's not playing good. He comes in, plays his little Batman role of coming in the clutch, whatever. Slides in, boom, wins them a Super Bowl. Woo, Bears are happy. Yeah, that's not happening, of course. But, a Bears fan could dream, of course. But, I don't even understand the direction of this team. Y'all literally went out and said, all right, we want to win right this second, right now. They go out, got Khalil Mack, traded everything. Cool. First year, perfectly fine. They lost I think the first year they got in the playoffs, they lost on the double doink or whatever.
Double doink.
I think that was the first.
To Nick Foles.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy, right? Nick Foles was the QB in that game. Yeah. But then it's they blame Cody Parkey. Oh my Lord! You bring in Eddie Pinero or whatever. You have quarterback.
They still don't have a kicker. They still don't have a kicker.
They have quarterback and kicker problems, and have yet to figure that out. You could have got Rodrigo Blankenship. You could have got the kid that There's a one kicker that I seen kicking 50-yard field goal standing still.
The Eagles drafted him.
I don't remember who drafted. It was the Eagles.
Eagles.
Oh no, he's standing still kicking 50-yarders.
Which I don't understand because the Eagles have a top 10 kicker in Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott's great.
Vicious. Jake Elliott is vicious.
Listen, but what I don't understand is that
cold-blooded.
This is why I said what I said about the Bears. The fact that the sole reason you really haven't gotten anywhere besides the quarterback is because you have a terrible kicker. Like, name any
Kickers
other
win games.
Yeah, but name any other franchise that depends on their kicker more than the Bears have in the last 5 years.
The last 5 years, I couldn't tell you.
Exactly.
So many missed opportunities in the red zone. Or in their
because you miss your quarterback gets to the red zone, he folds, then your kicker goes wide left. Good night. Now you're down. Now instead of having 7-3, you have 0, nothing to show for it, and then boom, now you're down 48-0, and you was wondering why, because you're missing the red zone 7 times.
I don't know what
Chicago's a mess.
They're a zoo. The Bears, they're a bear exhibit. Zoo. You got bear crap all over the place. It's bad. It's just bad.
All right. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of our 3-word game with the NFL. I'm pretty sure we went over an hour and a half. We apologize. We are going to try to get better with that. Hopefully we have a full house next week. We are going to discuss not just NFL next week. There's going to be basketball talk, baseball talk.
Oh, but, definitely some baseball talk. We got
the KBO.
It's so lit. We got the KBO. It's so lit.
Any final words? We'll start with David.
Hey man, sports are coming. It looks like baseball's coming very soon. We got a big UFC event this Saturday. I know Almar and I are very excited for that. Cinquay as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm pulling for Dustin Gaethje this time. Originally, I was going for Tony Ferguson if Khabib was fighting, but hey. We'll see. Also, I just checked out the prelims, and the last fight on the prelims is Cerrone and Pettis. So you guys are getting a treat, a free fight treat. So, well, we might dabble into that our next episode. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay clean, and stay inside.
All right, Almar, any last words?
Stay inside for just a little bit longer. It's almost over, I promise. Sports are back. Almost fully back. Just stay inside just a little bit longer, and it'll all go back to normal. Just stay inside just a little bit longer.
Sports are back. I'll stay inside forever. I don't care. Cinquay, we'll end with you. Any final words?
We almost there. I know it's been long. It's been long and hard. Everybody's dealt with it in their own way. I literally had to move away from my home. Like, I literally had to move to Florida, like, on the fly. Like, stuff is crazy, life is getting out of hand right now, and, people are dying, and, it's always RIP to them, we want to make sure everybody's safe, everybody's happy, healthy, that stuff. Sports is coming back. Life is starting to try and get back in order. Florida on Monday just opened up restaurants back to 25% capacity, so people can now sit inside. They open beaches and stuff, so life is starting to get back to normal. Hopefully that second wave that they've been trying to allude to doesn't happen, but, I just hope everybody could just, help us flatten the curve and flatten it down to nothing. There's a lot of diseases in this world that have literally been extinct from like measles, mumps, and all that other stuff. Like, you do not see cases of that. So hopefully, I'm just hoping that coronavirus, it just hopefully gets to one of those levels.
All right. With that being said, I've been Hasham Kahlon, and again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Plays, K's, and Fadeaways podcast. We'll be looking to get this to you in a few days, probably Thursday. And again, we'll see you next week. Thank you.